Welcome back to another video of a recent accelerator on-site visit. I'm here at Trinity Baptist in Walla Walla, Washington, and we were here to do an audio upgrade. I'll show some before footage of their previous console, which was a Yamaha M7. And the Yamaha M7 is a pretty big digital mixer. They were running an analog snake with all the channels up from this booth into their walls, down the wall and up to their stage. And the analog snake would run through the walls, split out, and go to the stage pockets, and then to the other snake that was in the walls for in-ear monitors. One of the reasons for the upgrade here at Trinity Walla Walla was that there was a lot of noise in the signals. So all the inputs coming into the Yamaha M7, all their in-ear monitor systems were completely noisy, lots of fuzz and buzz and all the things that you don't want in your system. And so that was due to running power and signal kind of parallel to one another. It was due to some different kind of terminations there on the stage and the stage box. So they decided to go for kind of a complete overhaul, and we did basically everything besides the PA. So we upgraded to a Behringer WING. And as you know, this is a great option for churches these days. The Behringer WING with the 40-channel mixer. You can store something like 400 inputs as sources in this mixer. If you combine the expansion card and AES-50 and USB and Stage Connect and all the different options you have, this is a really powerful mixer for the amount of money that it costs to buy one. And so they actually bought one for this room in their sanctuary as well as their Spanish and youth room, so that training would be cohesive from room to room, and that altogether the ecosystem was so similar and easy to get plugged in. So let me show you what we did here in the tech booth to get this wing up and running. So we ended up using an AES-50 connection from port A from the Behringer WING all the way through and up to the stage into their AV closet, which I'll show you here in a second. And that can transfer all of the audio from the digital snake to the front of house mixer all over one Cat5 cable. So I had them run two cables just in case they wanted to expand to an AES-50B in the future, or add an additional stage box if they wish. One of the things that we made sure to do and that we love to do when we're on site is making sure that this Behringer WING is connected to the local area network, and that way we can actually use the offline editor for a lot of the editing that we need to do. And the offline editing just makes things easy for naming channels and saving presets and all of that kind of thing that's just very quick to do on a computer as opposed to tapping in on a touch screen. The other thing that we set up here is something that I've highlighted in my other on-site videos, which is Waveform, and that is our new favorite DAW for recording and playing back multi-tracks from your band. So we went ahead and recorded a rehearsal into Waveform. Waveform is a free DAW that is super easy to download, get up and running, name your tracks, and then sync up with your Behringer WING, all via the USB output that comes from this console. So you can send 48 channels all over just USB into this computer and record straight in. Then you can play back these tracks over that same USB connection running into the Behringer WING. And again, the Behringer WING, it's got kind of these sleeper features, and one of these sleeper features is that every channel has an alternate input. And so the way we do this here at Churchfront is we have a main channel that is our AES-50A port, and then we have a alternate channel, which is our USB input from our multi-track playback system in Waveform. So when I'm recording on Sunday, you can see that my main input is AES-50A6 for my Tom 2. And then when I want to train somebody and do a virtual sound check or playback tracks that kind of spend some more time processing things, I can hit one button on the wing and it goes to my USB input from the computer, which allows me to loop sections of audio, play it back, spend some more time really dialing in maybe a vocal mic or a drum mic. And that is something else that we did while we were here, was deploy new drum mics into their drum kit, and we ended up shielding their drums as a whole. And so we really needed to spend some time fine-tuning that system. But ultimately, we really love to make sure that a church has the offline editor for whatever console console they're using, synced up to the network so that if I change something here on the offline editor, it changes on the Wing as well if it's synced up. And one of the other benefits of the accelerator program with our students is that even after I leave this on-site or after we go home from deploying these systems, we always install Jump Desktop Connect, which is a remote desktop client, which allows our studios at home to remotely connect to these computers at churches. And the benefit is that using tools like Loopback, which is a virtual audio router, and this offline editor synced up to the physical mixer, we can actually play back your multi-tracks here in the church that I'm standing in and hear it from my home office in Denver, Colorado, just as it would. Now, the difference is the PA is going to sound different because I'm obviously not hearing their speakers, I'm hearing my studio monitors. But this is great for troubleshooting, confirming routing setups, and that way, if they want to add channels or reroute things in the future, we just hop on a quick coaching call within the accelerator program. I load up their Jump Desktop Connect connection, and I can start playing back their audio, looking at their Wing settings, helping them save new presets and show files and all those things. So these systems are super helpful, and it really supports the church even after we are not on site anymore.
We're pausing this video for just a moment to tell you about our sponsor, Digital Glue. If you're in the media production game, whether it's at a small church, a large church, or anything in between, you're gonna wanna hear about Creative.space. It's a one-of-a-kind, all-inclusive storage service which provides an affordable on-site server which you can access globally via VPN, and the Creative.space team takes care of all of the tech. Your church doesn't need a dedicated IT staff member to support it. You guys know I've been making videos for the Churchfront channel for over 6 years now, and my team has grown to a place where it's not just me editing videos. We needed a solution that could handle the multiple terabytes of footage we capture every single month and gives us maximum flexibility for collaborative editing. That's why we started using Creative.space's Rogue Pro solution here at Churchfront. Here's the lowdown. Create a storage space and share it with your team. Set up templates with variables to rapidly create folders and project files, ready with custom naming and permissions. Transfer assets and mount directly to your desktop with built-in tools for seamless collaboration. Every folder and file has a shareable link, and you can tag assets to quickly find what you're looking for with libraries. There's no need for each of our team members to copy all of the assets onto their own hard drives, which saves us a ton on storage costs. We can edit off the same server, whether we are all in one office or we are collaborating remotely. Yes, network speed does matter, but the Creative.space team is there to help find solutions like optimized proxy files or remote desktop for slow connection. The cool thing about Creative.space is we are able to collaborate from anywhere using the same files. I've dabbled with other network attached storage in the past, but many of them were unreliable, susceptible to ransomware, and a headache to set up and maintain. The Rogue Pro server, the intuitive software, the proactive support ensure that we have the performance and capability we need while keeping everything up and running smoothly. Ready to simplify your church creative team's workflow? Click the link in the description and schedule a demo today.
Another really cool thing that we did while we were on site is I upgraded the firmware to this Behringer WING and to the Behringer WING in the student room to 2.0. Now, this is a new firmware release from Behringer as of the last month or two, depending on when you're watching this video. And the big thing that this firmware update pushed was all the new library features and all the new storage options for storing show files, storing snapshots, storing snippets, clips, effects presets, and channel presets. We were able to make Trinity Walla Walla a sanctuary folder here on their Behringer WING, and then in the Trinity Walla Walla sanctuary folder, we have band presets, effects presets, and vocal presets, and I was able to save all of their band presets and then all of their effects presets for their vocal reverb and delay, and then all of their vocal presets for their vocalists on their team. This is just a super easy way to save these little channel presets, and then we can also save a snapshot of the whole console configuration so that it is easy to get back to a really safe place if things get wonky in the future as you're training and the like. So this was a really cool update, and I was really excited to see such a simple folder structure on the board and all of the things that you can load into your snapshots and your presets for channels and effects. So there's a ton of other features that I'm not deploying here on this trip, but if you are one who likes to dig into the release notes, you can go ahead and check out that on Behringer's website as well. One of the goals while we were doing our initial growth plan call with Carrie and her pastor Logan here at Trinity Baptist in Walla Walla, Washington, was to get better control of the drums. And so we ended up going with the ClearSonic classic drum shield that has the foam panels in the front, the foam in the back, and the foam on top. And for this room, because it's such a tall ceiling, you can kind of see how really reflective the wood paneling on the top can be. And so, you know, drum isolation is really important for a room like this to not feel overwhelmed and bombarded with the drums in the sanctuary. So we recommended the ClearSonic panels. They ordered them, got them installed, and then they actually installed some new drum mics as well. We ended up going with the SE drum mic kit from Sweetwater that you can get pretty easily these days. And so that kit comes with a kick mic that's awesome. It comes with 3 tom mics. It comes with a snare mic, and it comes with 2 overhead mics. And so these things were awesome. I mean, out of the box, we did a little bit of tuning, and ultimately they really need to get some new heads on their drums and tune them up a little bit more to kind of dial in the sound a little bit more precisely. But for the price of this mic drum kit, this is an awesome place to start, especially if you're new to drum mics. This is just such an easy place to get off the ground without breaking the bank. And one of the things I love about this kit that I'm sure other kits have, but do you see how clean that tom mic mount is? It is so simple and very, very minimal. You don't need a stand, and the XLR is mounted on the bottom there, so it just goes straight down. I just love that. There's not an XLR going out of the back of the microphone. You don't have any boom stands here. It's very simple, very clean, and you know, we're all about that clean drum kit and cable management here at Churchfront. So that was a really cool step in the process, was just to see them excited about how good the drums sounded in their room without feeling overwhelmed and bombarded by the lack of control that can come without a shield or without some of the sound treatment there. So here's their AV rack, and you can see there are just a couple pieces here. They've got a DBX processor rack. This is actually a really cool PA processing rack that you can network into. It's got some built-in wizards that help you EQ your room. And then they've got an in-ear monitor unit, a headphone amp, and a DL32 with their PA amps down below. So we ended up actually making a ton of cable while we were here, and shout out to their team, because their team had done the hard work of building and running network cable before I got here to all the destinations that we needed, AES 50 cable, basic LAN cable, and then they have a great team of volunteers who actually can make and solder a lot of what we needed to get connections and jumpers from the headphone amp to the DL32. And so ultimately we just made sure that everything was labeled nice and pretty, and that they know exactly what's plugged in where. But this DL32 again is running over AES 50 back to front of house. And then our headphone amp is actually going out 1/4 inch into the stage box, and it will run under here out onto the stage. And then we have 1/4 inch sockets in the stage that pop up and run into a male XLR, and they're using them with the PM1's system. If you're familiar with Behringer's PM1 units, they're great little belt pack units. If you're just getting started with in-ear monitors for the first time, they're great options because they're cheap and they gift you a nice mix independent, so you can send exactly what you want to your in-ear monitors. But one of the things that we really wanted to verify while we were here was they're very quiet on their own. So if you just run straight out of the output of the DL32, to a PM1, it's gonna be super quiet and you're gonna get some distortion once you start to turn up the volumes too much. And so hitting that headphone amplifier first really cleaned up the signal, made it very manageable in the ears and plenty loud enough when you're going to mix your band and your signals for your in-ear monitor mix. So we deployed PM1 systems for the vocalists on the front of the stage, and for the back line, we deployed these Behringer P16s. And the P16s are just great solutions if you're kind of stepping into in-ear monitors for the first time. These are not gonna break the bank, and they're super durable and reliable. And you can, get your own mix up and running. The quality of audio that comes via the Ultranet port on the DL32 is just crazy good. It sounds nice and clear, plenty loud enough, and then you've got tons of points of attenuation, a sweepable EQ on these things. Now, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. The P16s are not a new product, but this was such a great improvement for the team here. The back line and the people who are kind of playing those instruments like piano, drums, bass, guitar, they were all singing high praises of how full and good quality the audio sounded coming out of the P16 compared to all of the noise and interference they had had prior to with their kind of ongoing ground loop issues with their previous floor pocket in-ear monitor systems. So this is all fed over a PoE switch from back in the AV closet. So we ran network cables underneath the stage, and they pop up in the stage pockets, and then you can pretty much plug in a P16 anywhere there's a network cable. So this was a really great option, and it freed us up of using a lot of our buses on the board so that we could use those buses for different kinds of compression, different groups for mixing broadcast. So the P16s were a great option to kind of incorporate a hybrid approach rather than getting everybody on PM1s and having to use all of your buses from the Behringer WING. You could use the Ultranet from the DL32 and deploy the P16s, and that does not eat up any of your buses, and then you're only using the buses for the individual PM1s. So we were able to get a lot more in-ear monitors to the band and to the backline via the P16s while still using PM1s for the vocalists. So that's a great little hack if you don't want to or can't use all of your buses from the outputs on your board. You can deploy kind of a hybrid or a half and half of the P16s and some PM1s where you need them. One of the other upgrades that they wanted to do here at Trinity Baptist was to kind of upgrade the student room and this environment. So this was their old hybrid digital mixer that they had deployed in this room that was capable of doing scenes and really a functional workhorse. They're gonna keep it around for kind of an outdoor auxiliary board, if you will, but we also deployed a Behringer WING in this space as well. Because these wings are really a great price point for all of the functionality that you get, they were able to order 2 of them and upgrade both consoles at the same time. This is really gonna streamline the training between both rooms and just their ability to do ministry essentially wherever they want. Again, we deployed Jump Desktop Connect so that we can service the board via the offline editor. We recorded some tracks via waveform, and we'll be able to service this church and help them accomplish their ministry goals and any kind of routing or troubleshooting needs they have in the future. So we had a great time out here at Trinity Baptist in Walla Walla, Washington, and ultimately really happy that they were able to upgrade both rooms for their main sanctuary and their audio experience in this room, as well as in their youth and Spanish room, where they have multiple ministries meeting in there, and the training will be so seamless between both environments because the files are set up in such a similar way that it'll be really easy to onboard new volunteers, get people excited about serving in the sound area, and hopefully be able to accomplish lots of ministry here in the coming years. If you're interested in our team or having a Churchfront team member come out to help you guys at your church in person, you can head to worshipministryschool.com or click the link in the description of this video. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you again next time.